uncombed for many years and had become complicated in tangles. In other words, she neglected her bodily dress and comforts to engage in the service of her husband. Her body
Yeah.
was coated Yes, her body was coated with thick layer of dirt and her breasts were discolored. She dove, however, into the lake which contained the sacred waters of the Saraswati.
Following the words of her husband, the lotus-eyed Devahuti, with matted locks of hair and wearing dirty clothing, whose breasts were discolored, being covered with dirt, entered the lake of auspicious water filled with Saraswati river. Since Kardama told that please, without having any fear, please enter that water Bindusaros and then enter into airplane. So she followed her husband. Samadaya means respecting the words of her husband. She immediately entered into that particular lake. What is the condition of her while entering into that lake? Her hair was matted. She was wearing dirty cloth, and her whole body was filled with dirt. So like that, because she was filled with, she was always engaged in all these activities like keeping that entire arena clean and providing water and all the other ingredients for yajna. And she was always engaged in all these activities. She was not having any time to take care of her body. So in that way, so she entered into the water. Then what happened? Santaha sarasi veshmasta
Tantaha sarasi veshmasta
shatani dashakanyaka
shatani dashakanyaka
sarva kishora vayaso
sarva kishora vayaso
tadarshotpalagandaya.
tadarshotpala gandayah. In a house inside the lake, she saw 1,000 girls, all in the prime of youth and fragrant like lotuses.
In the lake, she saw 1,000 young girls. Shatani Kanyaka. 1,000 girls were there. All youthful and fragrant as lotuses, residing in a house. So inside the Bindu Sarovar, there is a palace. In that palace, there are 1,000 maid servants, all youthful and very fragrant. And as soon as Devahuti went into that water, they all rose up and they introduced themselves to Devahuti, saying that, "Oh, our dear master, we are all your servants. We are at your disposal to do whatever you want." Because previously she was not having any servants, so now she had 100,000, no, 10, 100, that means 1,000 maid servants. Tam društva sah sotaya
Tam drushva saka sotaya
prochu pranjalaya sriya
rochu pranjala yastriya
vayam karma karistubhyam
vayam karma karistubhyam
sadhina karavamakim.
sadhina karavama kim. Seeing her, the damsel suddenly rose and said with folded hands, "We are your maid servants. Tell us what we can do for you."
Seeing her, the woman quickly stood up and with folded hands said, "We are your maid servants. Please tell us what we can do for you." So please tell us what service we can do for you, Tubhyam. So they are introduced themselves to her and they are requesting her what we can do. So then what happened? Snanena tam maharhena
Snanena tam maharhena
snapayitva manashvini
snapayitva manashvinim
dukule nirmale nutne
dukule nirmale nutne
dhatyur astyaicha manadha.
tadur asyai cha manadaha. The girls
Bhushanani, one second. Bhushanani parardhyani
bhushanani parardhyani
Variyamsi Dyumanti cha.
Variyamsi Dhyumanti cha.
Annam Sarvagunopetam.
Annam Sarva Gunopetam.
Panam Chaivamrutasam.
Panam Chaivamritasavam. The girls, being very respectful to Devahuti, brought her forth, and after bathing her with valuable oils and ointments, they gave her fine new clothless cloth to cover her body. Then they decorated her with very excellent valuable jewels, which shone brightly. Next, they offered her food containing all good qualities and a sweet, inebriating drink called ashavam.
After bathing, the cheerful Devahuti, using valuable fragrant oils, the respectful girls gave her fine new clothing, valuable, praiseworthy, sparkling ornaments, food with all good qualities, and sweet drinks. So, just like how the princess is taken care in the kingly palace by her maid servants, for the first time, Devahuti is being taken care in the forest after being married to Kardama. Similarly, in the forest. So, like that. With the bath, there were suitable oils. They gave her clothing to wear, they gave her food and drinks. The drink means not like any intoxicant drink, the heavenly beverage which increases the vigor, strength of a person in that way. Atadarse swamatmanam
Atadarshe swam atmanam
Tragvenam virajambaram
sragvinam vrajambaram
virajam krita swastenam
virajam krita swasyayanam
sarvabharanabhushitam
kanyabhirbahumanitam
कन्याभिर्बहुमानितं सातं
kanya
कृतशिरस्तानं
snatam krita sirasnanam
सर्वाभरणभूषितं
sarvabharana bhushitam
निष्कग्रीवं वलयिनं
nikshagrivam valayinam
पूजत् काञ्चननूपुरम्.
pujat kanchana nupuram. Then in a mirror, she beheld her own reflection. Her body was completely freed from all dirt, and she was adorned with a garland, dressed in unsullied robes, and decorated with auspicious marks of tilaka. She was served very respectfully by the maids. Her entire body, including her head, was completely bathed, and she was decorated with all over with ornaments. She wore a special necklace with a locket. There were bangles on her wrist and tinkling anklets of gold about her ankles.
Yeah. In a mirror, she saw her body was made auspicious and clean, tended carefully by the girls, adorned with a garland and clean cloth, bathed fully, including the head, and decorated with all ornaments with a nishka around her neck, armlets and jingling gold anklets, etc. So, some women of the western provinces do not bathe the head. To defeat that idea, here it is stated that her head was bathed. Shronyor adyastaya kancha
Shronyor adyastaya kanchya
kanchanya bahuratnaya
kanchanya bahuratnaya
harena cha maharena
arena cha mahaharena
ruchakena cha bhushitam.
ruchakena cha bhushitam. About her hips, she wore a girdle of gold, set with numerous jewels, and she was further adorned with a precious pearl necklace and auspicious substances.
She was decorated with a gold belt with many jewels on her waist, by a precious necklace and by auspicious substances. So, so her decorations are indicated. And finally, she entered into the water body. She bathed. Now she became as she was while she was in palace, like without any lean or emaciated body, and she was like very good looking, healthy. So in that way. Sudata Subhruvas Lakshna
Sudata Sarvarvas Lakshna
Snigdha Pangena Chakshusha
Nigdapangena Chaksusa
Padmakosha Sprudha Nile
Padmakosa Sprudhaniler
Alakaischa Lasannukam.
Alakaischa Lasanmukham. Her, her countenance shone with beautiful teeth and charming eyebrows. Her eyes, distinguished by the lovely moist corners, depicted the beauty of the lotus buds. Her face was surrounded by dark curling tresses. Hare Krishna.
Her face shone with beautiful teeth, beautiful brows, charming eyes, with tender glances defeating lotus buds and black locks of hair. Teeth and eyebrows are in the singular to represent type. Lakshana means attractive. Her eyes, which had affectionate glances, defeated lotus buds in beauty. So, further description about her only. So then, after she was completely transformed, she remembers her husband. As soon as she remembers her husband, she was disappeared from the water along with all the maid servants. She appeared in the airplane along with her husband. This is all by mystic potency only. And then both of them go on pleasure trip all over the universe. That is indicated in this section. Yeda sasmara rushabham
यदा सस्मार ऋषभम्
rushinam daitam patim
ऋषीणां दयितं पतिं
तत्र चास्ते सहस्रिभिः
तत्र चाष्टे सः
यत्रास्ते सा प्रजापतिः
यत्रास्ते सा प्रजापति. Translation: When she thought of her great husband, the best of the sages, Kardama Muni, who was very dear to her, she, along with all the maid servants, at once appeared where he was.
When she thought of her husband, best among the sages, she immediately arrived at the spot where her husband was standing, along with her maid servants. Seeing herself in this condition and judging herself fit for enjoyment with her husband, she then thought of him. Immediately she appeared where he was, seated with him on one seat in the aerial mansion. भर्तुः पुरस्तदात्मानं
Partuku Purasat Atmanam
श्रीसहस्रावृतं तदा
Stri Sakasra Vritam Tada
निशाम्या तद्योगगतिम्
Nishamya Tad Yoga Gatim
संशयन् प्रत्यपद्यता.
Samshayam Pratyapadyata. She was amazed to find herself surrounded by 1,000 maids in the presence of her husband and to witness his yogic power.
Seeing herself surrounded by thousands of maids in the presence of her husband, she was surprised at his power of yoga. His power of yoga was that without even using her feet, she came from the water. Seeing the power of his yoga, she was surprised, thinking how amazing this is. A beautiful aerial mansion came. She went into the water. She regained our previous beauty And she immediately, as soon as she remembered her husband, she was moved from water to the airplane, and then airplane starts moving. So looking at all these things, she became very much astonished. This is all because of my husband's power. So like that. Satam krutamalsnanam
Tatam kritam
Tatam
alasnanam
viprajantim apurvavat
viprajantim apurvavat
atmano bibruti rupam
atmano bipratim rupam
samvita ruchirastanam
samvita ruchirastanim
vidyadari sahasrena
vidyadari sakasrena
sevyamanam suvasasam
sevyamanam suvasasam
jatabhavo vimanam tad
jatabhavo vimanam tad
arohayad amitrahan.
arohayat amitrahan. The sage could see that Devahuti had washed herself clean and was shining forth as though no longer his former wife. She had regained her own original beauty as a daughter of a prince. Dressed in excellent robes, her charming breasts duly girded, she was waited upon by 1,000 Gandharva girls. O destroyer of the enemy, his fondness of her grew, and he placed her on the aerial mansion.
O conqueror of lust, Kardama, struck with love for his wife, who was now cleansed, shining, beautiful, and she was previously with covered, charming breasts, fine robes, served by thousands of young girls, placed her in the airplane. She was as radiant as she was previously before her marriage. तस्मिन् अलुप्तमहिमा तस्मिन् अलुप्तमहिमा प्रिययानुरक्तो
Tasmin alupya mahima priyatanyurukto
विद्याधरिभिर् विद्याधरिभिरुपच उपचीर्ण वपुर्विमाने
vidyadarabir upachirna vapur vimane
बभ्राजवुत्ककुमुद्गनवान्नपीचम्
babraja utkacha kumud ganavan apityas
ताराभिरावृतविवोडुपतेर्नभस्ता
tarabir avritta ivadu patir nabasta. Though seemingly attached to his beloved consort while served by the Gandharva girls, the sage did not lose his glory, which was mastery over his self. In the aerial mansion, Kardama Muni with his consort shone as charmingly as the moon in the midst of the stars in the sky, which causes rows of lilies to open in ponds at night.
The sage of undiminished glory, whose body was served by the girls and who was attached to his wife, shone in the airplane like the moon in the sky surrounded by charming stars, while possessing many blossoming lotuses in the form of their eyes. So basically, the beauty inside the airplane is being discussed with the combination of Kardama, Devahuti, and 1,000 maid servants. The sage, his body is served by the girls, shown in that airplane, brightly shining in that airplane. He possessed many blossoming lotuses. Apivia means very beautiful. The sage was like the full moon. The airplane was like the sky. The women were like the stars. Their eyes were like the lotuses. So looking at Devahuti and Kardama, the ladies were very happy in that way. Senastalokapaviharakula chalendra
तेनेस्तलोकोपविहार कुलचलेन्द्र
द्रोणीशनङ्गसकमारुतसौभगासु
रोणिस्ति अंगसख मृत सौभाग्येषु
सिद्धेर्नुतो द्युदुनि पिपात शिवस्वनासु
बुद्धेर्नु तु दुधुनि पात शिव शून्यसु
रेमे चिरं दनदवल ललनावरोति
रेमे चिरम धन धवल ललयन भरूथि. Translation. In the aerial mansion, he traveled to the pleasure valleys of Mount Meru, which were rendered all the more beautiful by cool, gentle, fragrant breeze that stimulated passion. In these valleys, the treasurer of the goddess Kubera, surrounded by beautiful women and praised by the Siddhas, generally enjoys pleasure. Kardama Muni, also surrounded by the beautiful damsels of his wife, went there and enjoyed for many, many years.
Using that airplane, praised by the Siddhas, Kardama, surrounded by damsels like Kuvera, enjoyed for a long time in the valleys of Mount Meru, the pleasure ground of the deities of the 8 directions, 8 Lokapalas, with its pleasant breezes, the companion of the Cupid, and which reverberated with the sound of auspicious water walls of the Ganga. So whatever is being mentioned in the next 3-4 verses, you will get more clarity about all these places when we study Canto 5. So Canto 5, there is an elaborate discussion about all these things. But basically, he has taken the airplane and he took his wife. So Mount Meru and all the pleasure gardens around Mount Meru. On top of the Mount Meru, 8 Devatas, 8 Lokapalas have their beautiful palaces. He had taken her to all those places, and he had taken her to one of the 9 Varshas of Bharata, Jambudvipa. One Varsha is known as Ilavarta Varsha. Within Ilavarta Varsha, there are wonderful gardens and lakes. All those gardens and lakes are visited by Devahuti and Kardama in this airplane. So these things are mentioned in the next 2-3 verses. He enjoyed with the airplane. Kulachalendra is Mount Meru. Duni is Ganga. The valleys had auspicious sound as Ganga water fell from high above. The Ganga will be jumping from the top of Mount Meru to Jambudipa. The total height is about 84,000 yojanas. One yojana is 13 kilometers. So you kindly imagine how much it is. 84,000 into 13. That many kilometers height Ganga is coming down. And these people were going upward, listening to the flow of Ganga, seeing the flow of Ganga, listening to the sound produced by the flowing Ganga. That's why it is called Duni, the heavenly sound. The valleys had auspicious sound as the Ganga water fell from high above. He was surrounded by many women like Kuvera. So 1,000 ladies are there. So he was looking like Kuvera. So in that way. Because the aerial mansion is filled with the most opulent things. Kuvera is the keeper of the wealth of the Devatas. So all the wealth of Devatas used to be in this airplane. So in that way it's called as compared to Kuvera. विश्रम्भके सुरसने विश्रम्भके सुरसने विश्रम्भके सुरसने
Vishrambake
विश्रम्भके सुरसने
नंदने पुष्पभद्रके
नंदने पुष्पभद्रके
मानसे चैत्ररैत्याचा
मानसे चैत्ररथ्यसा
रेमे रामाय रतः
रेमे रामाय रथः
प्राजिष्णुना विमानेन
प्रजिष्णुना विमानेन
कामगेन महीयसा
कामगेन महीयसा
वैमानिकान् अत्यसेते
वैमानिकान् अत्यसेता
चरल्लोकान् यतानिलः
लोकान् यथानिलः. Translation. Satisfied by his wife, he enjoyed in that aerial mansion not only on Mount Meru, but in different gardens known as Visrambhaka, Surasana, Nandana, Pushpabhadraka, and Chaitra Rathaya, and by the Manasarovar lake. He traveled in that way through the various planets as the air passes uncontrolled in every direction, coursing through the air in the great and splendid aerial mansion, which could fly at his will. He surpassed even the demigods.
Pleased with his wife, he enjoyed in Vishrambaka, Surasana, Nandana, Pushpabhadraka, Manasarovar, and Chaitratya. So later on in the 5th canto, we see there are 4 important lakes within Ilavarta Varsha. These are the 4 lakes. So Nandana, Pushpatobhadra, Chitrarata, Vibrajata. These are the 4 lakes are there in the Ilavarta Varsha, and then nearby there is Kailash. In the Kailash there is Manasarovara. All these places were visited by Kardama and Devahuti. Kardama surpassed the Devatas with their airplanes as they travel like the air to other planets and is gained glowing vehicle propelled by his desire. So Kardama's airplane is much superior to the airplane of the Devatas, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu. So like that. Because he can avoid liberation, then what to speak of creating an airplane which is better than that of the Devatas. Obviously he can do it. He did it. So in that highly opulent airplane, he was taking his wife to different places all over Mount Meru and Jambudipa and further. Kim durapadanam tesham
किं दुरामापदन्तेषां
pumsham uddama chetasam
पुंसामुद्दामचेतसां
air ashritas tirthapadas
यैराश्रिततीर्थपादश्रणो
charano vesanatyaya.
व्यसनात्यत. Translation. What is difficult to achieve for determined man who have taken refuge of Supreme Personality of Godhead's lotus feet? His feet are source of sacred rivers like Ganges, which put an end to the danger of mundane life. Haribol.
What is difficult to achieve for those with full absorbed minds who take shelter of the feet of the Supreme Lord, which destroy all misfortune. So, the people of this world only can do wonderful things, then what to speak of a devotee of Lord Vishnu? He can do much more wonderful than anybody else. Like that it is indicating. Their minds are not attached to anything except the Lord's lotus feet. In that way. Prekshayitva bhuvogolam
प्रेक्षयित्वा भुवगोलम्
patnyai yavan swasamstaya
पत्यै यावान् स्वसंस्थया
bhavacharyam mahayogi
बहु आश्चर्यं महायोगी
swashramaya nyavartata.
Vashvaramaय Nyavartataha. After showing his wife the globe of the universe and its different arrangements, full of many wonders, the great yogi Kardama Muni returned to his own hermitage.
Yeah, both of them travel all over Mount Meru, travel all over Jambudipa, then they travel all over Bhumandala. After showing his wife the greatly amazing territory of the Bhumandala, earth means Bhumandala here, with its structure, the great yogi returned to his hermitage. Golam here means territory or Bhumandala. Swasamstaya means with its composition of islands and continents. So after traveling all over the Bhumandala, they again came back to their hermitage on the bank of Bindu Sarovara. Basically, they travel all over the universe, at least all over the Bhumandala. They traveled all the different places all over the Bhumandala and they returned back to their home in Siddhapur. So, like that. So, this is how, in order to fulfill the desire of Devahuti, Kardama had created an aerial mansion, transformed her bodily appearance, and both of them sat in that airplane and both of them went on tour all over Mount Meru, all over Jambudipa, Ilavuta Varsha, and then Bhumandala, and then they returned home after traveling like that for so much time. Any questions till now?
No, Prabhuji.
Vibhajyanavadaatmanam
Vibhajya navadatmanam
manavim suratostukam
manavim surato tukam
Ramam niramayan reme
Ramam niramayan reme
Varshapugan muhurtavat.
Varsha bhogan muhurtavat. After coming back to his hermitage, he divided himself into 9 personalities just to give pleasure to Devahuti, the daughter of Manu, who was eager for sex life. In that way, he enjoyed with her for many, many years, which passed just like a moment.
Dividing himself into 9 parts and delighting his wife, the daughter of Manu, whose desired amorous pleasure he enjoyed for many years, which passed like a moment. Kardama divided himself into 9 forms. Basically, the one Kardama expanded into 9 forms to spend time with his wife. So in that way. Tasmain Vimana Utkrishtam
Tasmin vimana utkrishtam
Shayam Ratikarim Srita
sayyam ratikarim strita
Na Chanubhyate Na Chanubhyata Tam Kalam
na cha buddhyata tam kalam
Patyapi Chena Sangata.
patya pichena sangataha. In that aerial mansion, Devahuti, in the company of her handsome husband, situated on an excellent bed that increased sexual desires, could not realize how much time was passing.
Situated in an excellent bed which simulated desire in that plane, she did not notice that time had passed. Evam yoganubhavena
Evam yoganubhavena
Sampatyo Ramamanayo
dampatyo ramamanayo
Shatam Vyatiyu Saradha
satam yatiyo sarada
Kamalalasayormanak.
kamalalasayormanak. While the couple who eagerly longed for sexual pleasure were thus enjoying themselves by virtue of mystic powers, 100 autumns passed like a brief span of time.
As the couple enjoyed eager with desire by the power of yoga, 100 autumns, basically 100 years, passed in few moments. So they spent 100 years in that aerial mansion together. Then after the end of the 100 years, she bore 9 daughters. That is explained in the next 2 verses. Sasyam adattaretastam. Okay. Hare Krishna. Some devotees want to say something.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Ah,
Why did Kardama Muni took 9 forms?
that will be explained in the next verse. We will discuss afterwards.
Okay.
Sasyam adattaretastam.
Tasyam adattaretastam
Bhavayan Atmanatmavet
bhavayan atmanatmavit
Noda Vidaya Rupam Swam
noda vidaya rupam swam
Sarva Sankalpa Vidvibhum.
sarva sankalpa vidvibhu. The powerful Kardama Muni was the knower of everyone's heart, and he could grant whatever one desired. Knowing the spiritual soul, he regarded her as half of his body. Dividing himself into 9 forms, he impregnated Devahuti with 9 discharges of semen.
The powerful Kardama, knower of all desires, knower of the soul by his intelligence, thinking of his wife, divided his form into 9. Noda Vidaya means Navada Vidaya, and deposited his semen in her. Sarva Sankalpa Vidhu. By thinking of a woman at the time of impregnation, a female child will be produced. Kardama knew that his wife desired daughters. So Devahuti had a desire to have daughters. How many daughters? 9 daughters. So she wanted to have many daughters because Kardama had already made a promise saying that I will be with my wife as long as she will bear children. So if she wanted to have many children from her husband, but husband had put a condition that he will only beget children once. So how can both will be possible? So she thought that I should have my husband with me for a long time, and as a result of that, I should have more daughters. So Kardama does not want to stay with her for long. So he wanted to beget more daughters at one go. So in order to give birth to 9 daughters, he expanded himself into 9 farms and he impregnated her 9 times. As a result of that, 9 daughters will be born at one go. We say that twins and triplets and quadruplets. So like that, the 9 children would be born at one go. For that, he took himself 9 farms and he impregnated her 9 times continuously. So in that way, she will give birth to 9 daughters at one go only. So that is the understanding. He was a knower of the soul by his intelligence. Thus, he was detached because his desire was less, his semen was less, and thus female children were produced. So she wanted to have female children, and that too 9 children. In order to fulfill her desire, he expanded into 9 farms, and he was thinking of fulfilling his wife's desire, and she gave birth to 9 daughters. Puman pumsho adike shukre, Sri bhavet adike striya. A male is born when the man is stronger, and a female is born when the female is stronger. This is one of the Upanishadic verse. So the concept of begetting children is being indicated. Noda means 9 times. He was the knower of all desires. He knew that his wife had a desire for many children. He was powerful, capable of fulfilling all her desires. So in that way, in order to fulfill his wife's desire, because she wanted more daughters, he expanded himself into 9 farms and he impregnated her, thinking of his wife. As a result of that, she will bear 9 daughters. So in that way. So this is the reason is indicated here. Why he expanded into 9 farms. अतः सा सुषुवे सद्यो
अथाशा शुश्रुवे सद्यो
देवहूति श्रिया प्रजा
देवहूति स्त्रिया प्रजः
सर्वास्ताश्चारु सर्वांग्यो
सर्वास्ताश्चारु सर्वाण्यो
लोहितोत्पलगन्धया
लोहितोत्पलगन्धयः. Immediately afterward, on the same day, Devahuti gave birth to 9 female children, all charming in every limb and fragrant with the scent of red lotus flower.
At one time, Sadhya means all in one day. Within a day, one after the other, she gave birth to 9 female children, all with beautiful limbs and with the fragrance of red lotuses. In due course of time, when there is a right time for labor, and she delivered 9 babies, one after the other. So that's how the 9 daughters were born to Devahuti. So the marriage condition is fulfilled. I will stay with my wife till the time she will bear children. The children are born. Now Kardama is about to leave home. So Devahuti cannot say anything no to her husband because that was the agreement. He was leaving. But still, Devahuti makes a small request. And that is indicated in the next section. Small. She said, I'm not stopping you, but before you go, please do this small favor to me. Then you are free to go wherever you want. So like that. Any questions, Hare Krishna, till now?
No, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
one doubt is there.
Yes, Prabhu, go ahead. We are not able to hear you.
प्रभु जी इधर 48 इसमें ट्रांसलेशन में लिखा है सेम डे.
हाँ.
It is possible for
Same day, na? 9 children were born at one after the other in the same day only. They are like twins and triplets and quadruplets, like that. 9 daughters. एक ही बार जन्म हुआ.
Okay.
Yes. They are all like twins. Twins and मतलब two only, but they're all like born simultaneously. Because they were impregnated immediately, na?
Yes.
So in that way.
Yes.
Patimsa pravrajishantam
Patimsha pravrajityantam
tada laksho sati bahi
tada lakshyo sati bahi
mayamana viklavena
smayamana viklavena
hridayena vidhuyata
hridayena viduyata
likyanti ado mukti bhumim
likkanti ado mukti bhumim
pada nakamanishriya
pada nakamanishriya
uvacha lalitam vacham
uvacha lalitam vacham
niruddhyashru kalamshanai.
nirudyashru kalamshanai. When she saw her husband about to leave home, she smiled externally, but at her heart she was agitated and distressed. She stood and scratched the ground with her foot, which was radiant with the luster of her gem-like nails. Her head bent down. She spoke in slow yet charming accents, suppressing her tears.
Seeing her husband leaving the home, the beautiful Devahuti smiled outwardly, but with a heart disturbed and pained. She looked downward, writing on the earth with her jewel-like toenails, and suppressing her tears, slowly spoke charming words. She smiled since that was natural on seeing her husband, but actually her heart was filled with worry and agitation. Devahuti speaks. Basically, she can't say no also, and she can't say yes also. But since husband is going, she has to smile. She was smiling. And then she also had some worries. In order to express her worries, she was writing with her toenails on the ground, and then she begins to speak. Devahuti
Devahutir
Sarvam tad bhagavan mayam
sarvam tad bhagavan mayam
upovaha pratishrutam
upovaha pratishrutam
atapi me prapannaya
atapi me prapannaya
abhayam datum arhasi.
abhayam datum arhasi. Sri Devahuti said, "My lord, you have fulfilled all the promises you gave me. Yet because I am your surrendered soul, you should give me a fearlessness too."
Oh master, you have accomplished what you promised to me, but you should also give fearlessness to me, who am a surrendered to you. So she says everything is fine. Everything is according to this thing. Being a husband, you fulfill all your responsibilities. But being a great sage, you are not fulfilled one of your responsibility. That is awarding fearlessness to your surrendered disciple. That she is reminding her husband. Brahman Druitra Birtubhyam
Brahman duhitrubhistubhyam
Vimbrugya pataya sama.
Vimbrigya patayasmaha samaha
Kaschistyan me vishokaya.
Kashitsyan vishokaya
Tvayi pravrujate vanam.
Vayi pravrajate vanam. My dear Brahmana, as far as your daughters are concerned, they will find their own suitable husbands and go away to their respective homes. But who will give me solace after your departure as a sannyasi?
Your daughters will find qualified husbands for themselves. But who will solace me when you depart to the forest? So you are going today, and tomorrow your daughters will go away. I will be left alone in the forest. Who will take care of me? Who will look after me? Like that she is saying. Subhyam here means yours. I am not worried about their marriage. I should have a qualified son. From whom? From you, for removing my lamentation. Be merciful and stay a few more days with me. By your clever words, do you want more material pleasure from me? In shyness, she replies. So she says that, so what do you mean by fearlessness? She says, I should have a son who will take care of me. You are still looking for some more material pleasure? She says, no, no, it is not for material pleasure, but a son will take care of me both from the society point of view and from spiritual elevation point of view. What is the reason? Now she says, why she is asking for a son? Because she cannot stop her husband, but she is looking for a son who will do a special favor to her. What kind of favor is that? एतावतालं कालेन
एतावकालं कालेन
व्यतिक्रान्तेन मे प्रभो
व्यतिक्रान्तेन मे प्रभो
इन्द्रियार्था प्रसङ्गेन
इन्द्रियार्थ प्रसंगेन
परित्यक्ता परात्मनः
परित्यक्त परात्मनः. Translation: Until now we have simply wasted so much of our time in sense gratification, neglecting to cultivate knowledge of the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
O Master, so much time has passed uselessly in sense pleasure without thoughts of the Supreme Lord. She was telling that initially you were serving the Lord, I was serving you. That is fine. Later on, both of us were traveling in the airplane and both of us spent 100 years in the airplane, and then we had 9 children. What is it? We have spent a lot of time in uh, material pleasure. You are a great sage. I am like a disabled person, and that has gone. So I have wasted so much time in sense pleasure since I have rejected the Supreme Lord. This means that time has been wasted. So much time has been wasted in the sense pleasure, because of which I did not serve the Supreme Lord in all these years. Indriyarteshu sajjantya
इन्द्रियार्थेषु संयस्य
prasangastvai me krita
प्रसङ्ग त्वयि मे कृतः
ajanantya param bhavam
अजानात्या परं भावं
tatapyastu abhayaya me.
तथाप्यस्तु अभयामि.
I have associated with you while being attached to enjoyment and not knowing your superior condition as a devotee with great detachment. Still, you should give me fearlessness. So, my dear husband, you are a great devotee. But I have been treating you as my husband. That's how so many years have been gone. As a result of that, we have 9 daughters. But you yourself is a great devotee. Since I have been with you all these years, you need to give me fearlessness. This is expected from a great soul. Whoever spends good amount of time in the presence of a great soul, they should get, whether they want it or not, but they should get fearlessness. People are delivered by even a moment's association with you, a great devotee. There are 2 reasons why I did not get deliverance even after many years of association with you. What are the reasons? I was attached to sense pleasure and I did not know your superior, supreme position. You have great detachment and are a great devotee of the Lord. Since you are inclined to give up all possessiveness and in an instant give mercy to me, an offender. Even though you are completely attached, I made you to be attached to me. As a result of that, we begot 9 children. And then you are a great devotee of the Supreme Lord. I was only interested in sense pleasure. That's why I lost a good opportunity of being with a great sage. But whatever it is, I was with a great sage that should have given me fearlessness. Since you are going away without giving me fearlessness, at least give me a son who can give me fearlessness. Because we have already taken agreement that after we getting children, you will not stay with me. So now I say that no problem, you are going away, go. But give me a son who can give me fearlessness, which you are supposed to give me, which I failed to take from you. Like that, she is indicating. And she says that knowingly or unknowingly, if one associates a great soul, one should get benefited by becoming fearless. I have been associating with you for many years, but I have not got liberation. So she says, because I have used you only for sense gratification, that's why I not got. So please do this one favor, give me a son who will give me fearlessness. So like that she is asking. Sangoya samshruterhetur
Sangoya samsrute hetu
asastu vihitodiya
asastu vihito striya
saeva sadhushu kruto
saeva sadhu sukrito
nissangatvaya kalpate.
nisangataya kalpate.
Association with materialists done in ignorance is a cause of bondage. And association with devotees done in ignorance leads to liberation. Knowingly or unknowingly, if we associate with materialists, we are bound in this material world because we take upon their qualities or their activities. Similarly, knowing or unknowingly, if one associates with a sadhu, one should be get liberation. So knowingly or unknowingly, I have been associating with you for so many years, but I am not yet liberated. For my liberation, make a arrangement. How? By giving me a son who will give me the path, who will show me the path of liberation. Association with devotees such as you should not at all be in vain. That should actually lead to a fruitful result in the form of fearlessness or liberation. So, my dear husband, before leaving, please do this one small favor. So like that, she is requesting her husband. She's telling that I'm not telling you to stay home, but please do this one small favor. So, what are you requesting? You have such wealth. Enjoy these objects. You have the great airplane. Be happy with the airplane and being served by 100 maid servants. What else you want? Then she says philosophically, Nehayat karma dharmaya
Nihayata karma
Nehaya
dharma
karma dharma.
na
Go on, go on.
viragaya kalpate.
Na viragaya kalpate.
Na tirthapada sevayai.
Na tirthapada sevayai.
Jivan api mruto hi sa.
Jivan napi mruto hi sa.
A
Anyone who
person, one message
sorry.
wait. A person whose actions do not lead to dharma. Basically, whatever activities that we perform, all those activities should be Nishkama Karma Yoga. All our activities should be lead to Dharma. Dharma means Nishkama Karma Yoga. Because when one performs Nishkama Karma Yoga, all such Nishkama Karma Yoga activities should lead to Vairagya, detachment. And that detachment should lead to engage in the service of Lord's lotus feet. Otherwise, if our activities are not taking us to Nishkama Karma Yoga, which are not taking us to Vairagya, which are not taking us to service to the Supreme Lord's lotus feet, all our activities are activities of bondage, and such a person who is performing such kind of activities, even though he is breathing, he is living dead. Jivan api mruto isa. Like that she is saying. He whose actions are not for the purpose of dharma, and he whose dharma is not for the purpose of detachment, he whose detachment is not for the purpose of service to the Supreme Lord, and who is concerned only with the body and senses, he is already dead. Even though such a person is living, he is already dead. There is no use of talking about that person. So like that. Saham bhagavato nunam
Saham bhagavato nunam
vanchita mayaya dridam
vanchita mayaya dridam
yatvam vimuktidam prapya
yatva muktidam prapya
na mumuksheya bandhanat.
na mumuksheya bandhanat. Translation: My Lord, surely I have been solidly cheated by the insurmountable illusory energy of Supreme Personality of Godhead. For in spite of having obtained your association, which gives liberation from material bondage, I did not seek such liberation. Hare Krishna.
I have been cheated by the illusory energy of the Lord, because having attained you who can give liberation, I did not desire liberation from bondage. You told me that I can offer you liberation, but instead of asking liberation from you, I have only asked children, and after children you are living. What will be my condition now? So please do some necessary arrangement so that I am supposed to get liberation, which I deserve, being an associate of a great devotee like you. Like that, she is telling. I am an example of such a dead person. I am the living person who is dead because I did not desire liberation. She speaks with tears in her eyes and choked voice. In this way, she expresses her helplessness in front of her husband, saying that, my dear husband, even though when you are ready to offer liberation, but I did not ask for it, that was my mistake, and now I am not blaming you for that. But whatever it is, knowingly or unknowingly, I have been serving you, a great devotee, for so many years. Just by coming in touch with a devotee that leads to liberation, then what to speak of serving a great devotee for so long? So please do some necessary arrangement for this. So that is what it is. So this is how Devahuti expresses her desire to her husband. So any questions?
Prabhuji,
Hmm.
uh, Kardama Muni, being a great yogi and a great knower of all the knowledge, wasn't it was his duty before taking sannyas? It is said, na, कि he should, matlab, the wife should be taken care of by son.
No, he already told at the time of marriage only, I will stay with her only till the time she begets children.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
See,
But it
from
doesn't
our
sound
from material point of view, from our point of view, we think that we are providing security, safety, maintenance, everything for people around us. But personality like Kardama will know, even though I may go away, the Supreme Lord will take care of her. He had complete faith in that. Even though she may be saying that who will take care of me, but he knew the Lord will take care of. The Lord who is the maintaining everyone, can't he maintain my wife? So he would always know that Lord will take care of her.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Other devotees, anybody?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. That
Yes,
Ishpanishad, it is written by some Kardama Muni, the same Kardama Muni.
I don't know which Ishopan is written by. No,
We are
Ishop is not
studying
written
the
by
books.
Kardama Muni.
Ah,
I don't know. He might have written some Upanishad that I don't remember. Maybe may not be. You may check with some devotees who know about the Upanishads and all.
okay.
Hmm.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Thank you. If there are no questions, we'll stop here for today.